Hey, you out there. You want some culturally concise commentary? You want some co-hosts who actually are authentic and real? You can tell that they actually have some type of chemistry going on? You hate cloud chasing? That's cool. I actually got something in mind for you. So keep listening. You'll find out.
This is Touchdowns and Tangents, your weekly spot for NFL takes, culturally concise, tangent, and context for the culture.
What's up, good people? PD Camarillo here. Touchdowns and Tangents, TDs_tangents on Twitter and Instagram, touchdownsandtangents.com. Your Thursday night spot for NFL takes, topical tangents. As always, on the other side, we got
Kenneth Berry.
What's up, man?
I'm here, and I'm just glad I don't have Geno Smith on my fantasy football team.
Yeah, so we just watched the Thursday night game. It came down to the Seahawks and 49ers. Seahawks made a couple of big plays, but overall couldn't pull it out. There were some weird I wouldn't say questionable, but definitely some, let's say, impactful calls.
It was a blown call and definitely a makeup call.
Yeah, and overall, Seahawks just kind of couldn't execute in the red zone. And the Niners, I mean, they did. All their key players got hurt at some point, but they made enough plays to win. They're both 3-4, top that division. Rams are on a bye week.
Cardinals play the Packers.
Yeah, so
they've beaten the Rams and the Niners, so they kind of own the tiebreaker.
Raiders playing their Super Bowl their AFC Championship game this week.
This is the AFC wild card eliminator game.
They play the Steelers.
Whoever loses this game is not making the playoffs. I can guarantee you that.
Raiders decided to go with Minshew.
No, they picked AOC.
I mean, yeah, that's what I meant. They're going away from Minshew.
Hope that $15 million was worth it. Justin Fields was right there. Trading up with the Titans to get Michael Penix Jr. was right there. Hell, even if the Titans didn't get a tackle, they probably would have took Brock Bowers. I'm just, I'm amazed. I'm truly amazed at how bad the Raiders have gotten. People were saying, "Oh, they could make the playoffs. Look how great their defense is. Look how great their offense is." Which Minshew isn't great at all. He's like Joe Flacco's probably the best backup quarterback in the league right now. Outside of Andy Dalton.
He got casted away too by the Denver Broncos and New York Jets.
And then came back and was like, "Yeah, I can still hoop." He went all out for the Colts. I'm just the Raiders just don't surprise me at how bad they are. Like, they are literally the emperor who has no clothes. Like, they keep showing you not shiny, expensive shit. They kept telling me, Zamir White was a great pickup. He's a tough runner. He's a freakish athlete. But he never fucking played at Georgia like that. He never started at all. He was like a third-string running back. On top of that, let's see, where else was I going to go? Oh, yeah. With the Raiders and, people were saying, Tyree Wilson's, we don't know about that pick. Colton Miller's kind of, he's never really looked like an all-pro tackle. And guess what? I think he's given up 7 sacks this year. He's given up at least 6. He's given up almost a league-high sacks. So your O-line is kind of in shambles. Your quarterback's erratic. Throwing hospital balls, and Devontae said, "Enough of this shit. My hamstring hurts from running all these routes and getting my head almost taken off because Minshew can't give me the ball because the Raiders whiffed on C.J. Stroud and Michael Penix Jr. and a couple other quarterbacks, if we're being honest. But we're here now.
All right, well, let's not shit on the Raiders too much because we could just shit on them forever nonstop.
Yeah, because TJ Watt just had his 100th career sack last week, against the Cowboys. But you know who passed on, TJ Watt besides the Packers? The Raiders. And they took Garyon Conley with that pick. But yeah, on other things.
Other big games this week, you got Daniels versus Lamar Jackson, Commanders, Ravens.
That's going to be the battle for Maryland, I guess.
You got some divisional games between the Chargers, the Broncos, Falcons, Panthers, Colts, Titans, Buccaneers, Saints. So, should be some hard-fought, close games. Lions, Cowboys, the game of one of the later games, the 125 games. Bengals, Giants, Sunday night. That should be a bore. Bengals desperately need a win, though. Bills, Jets. Does anyone really care? I guess New York does. But I'm tired of the powers that be pushing these two teams on me via primetime games.
Yeah, I don't want to see the Bills. I don't want to see any New York football team on primetime anymore. It's trash.
Cowboys, too.
No, the Cowboys, it's Jerry's. It's Jerry's world. We're just all living in it. That's what he thinks.
All right, well, other than that, if your fantasy team is as hurt as mine and you have 8 questionable players in your lineup, I feel sorry for you. But, yeah, other than that, anything else you want to say on the past week before we move to college?
Sam Darnold is undefeated and on a bye and going to be leading the Trojans out of the tunnel this week when they play Penn State.
He won a Rose Bowl versus them.
Yes, he did. It's crazy that Reggie Bush and USC fell out again, so now he's not going to be getting tunnel this year because he wanted them to pay his legal fees, suing the NCAA and the whole Heisman situation, which I think is fair. You made all that money off of him.
For sure.
I graduated from here.
And they changed the whole law and stuff, so.
And you're welcoming me back and getting good press for it. I think you should pay my fucking legal fees. And let me lead out the tunnel. But I'm the reason that Dory wanted to come to USC. Bitch. All Juju, all those guys. Y'all recruited people to USC off my back. And I couldn't be around for 10 years.
What's keys to the game for USC this week?
They really need to fix their offense because, Gentry might redshirt, which I think he should. He could use another year under this defense because they finally have him playing like NFL linebacker. But he has some concussions in the past, but he also has a leg injury or whatever. So hopefully he takes the red shirt and just comes back next year with Reggion Davis because they aren't going to have any real experience next year at linebacker. Then you got to factor in Zavarian Branch. They have the receivers, but the O-line is just terrible. They're not good in pass blocking. They do great running the ball, but if the defense is giving you the run, giving you a 3-man box like Minnesota did. Minnesota gave them, 3 down linemen. Of course, Woody Marks had 140 yards rushing, but then passing wise, y'all look terrible. If the receivers aren't catching the ball, Miller had a bad pick and a bad throw, but one was he got hit in the face as he was throwing it. It's not like Miller Moss is a bad QB. He's not. But the O-line has not held up this year, especially both tackle spots. Elijah Page and Mason need to really figure it out. Mason Murphy. They got to figure it out because he's getting clobbered. And Jonah Monheim came back to play center, but he would be their best left tackle.
What would a win here mean for UCLA season and also just
UCLA?
I mean, USC season and
it would save their season. Because honestly,
Lincoln's future.
They could lose every game the rest of the way. Especially lose to Minnesota. Minnesota put up over 200 yards rushing, I think. And USC's defense kind of regressed. But your offense isn't helping you. And if your offense isn't helping you 2 games in a row, 3-4 games in a row, you're going to wear down your defense. Guys are going to get hurt. So they're kind of not like real. They don't have a lot of depth at linebacker outside of their seniors who are dropping like flies or redshirting. So they gotta really get downfield on Penn State's defense, and it's going to be hard because Penn State has 2 edge rushers, one who's looking like a top 10 NFL draft pick, and the other like a pretty good player too. So it's like you can't really afford to come out and not be able to pass the ball on Penn State, and you're playing at USC at 12:30 on October 12th.
That's disgusting. By the way,
it's going to be a packed house.
I'm sure it will be, but still, gross.
Crazy can get in the press box, but it is what it is. It's gonna be also. It's probably better happening at 12:30 than if it was like a 7:00 night game. Imagine trying to get out of there.
All right, so quick recap of last week. A&M smoked Mizzou. Any thoughts on that?
I said it in the group chat. I think Mizzou's already the number 1 team in the SEC. I think Mizzou should be higher than Georgia and Bama and Tennessee. I think you just have to take Georgia, Bama, and Tennessee out of the top 10 this week. You lose to unranked Vanderbilt, and you were the number 1 team in the country, Bama. You shouldn't be ranked. You shouldn't be ranked in the top 10. Tennessee lost to an unranked South Carolina. You shouldn't be in the top 10. But I would put Tennessee above Bama because their loss was more acceptable. And Georgia didn't beat Bama. So, yeah, you got to go down, too. I'd put Ole Miss below Georgia. I'd have all those teams at like 11, 12, 13, 14, you know. But Kansas State's undefeated. BYU's undefeated. Indiana's undefeated.
Washington beat Michigan. A big upset.
That was a huge upset. Big win for Washington. Got some payback for the national title game last year. Their offense is rolling. Just, you know, they got to get their defense to keep playing good, but their offense is rolling. Will Rogers is top 10 in passing. Joe Nakoma has multiple 20-yard runs. I think their receiver, Denzel Prince, I think that's his last name. He has like Denzel Bryant or something. I forget his name for Washington, but he has like 8 receiving touchdowns. He's on pace to shatter the school record, which is 18. You know, their offense is going. They lost a big game the week before, and then the Apple Cup. They dropped 2 games they had no business losing. But Washington's not really a bad football team. But the real story of the week is number 2 versus number 3, Ohio State versus Oregon. That was the game of the year coming in.
Kenny, I wasn't done.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
I was going to ask you about Miami barely beating Cal.
Oh, yeah. Talk about questionable calls. Thank you for reminding me, because that targeting call, they didn't call targeting on the Cal QB on that 3rd down where he got knocked out. Like, Buddy got put to sleep. Like, I've never seen a quarterback have a defender with the crown of their helmet run through their face mask and they didn't call targeting. Like, if you go back and watch it, he was like damn near concussed. He got yanked off the field. It was bad. They didn't call that. And then on the game-winning touchdown, a lineman was in the end zone, like down the field on the screen, like way down the field. They should have called that. So Cal kind of got screwed, even though they blew like a 20-point lead or 21-point lead.
All right. So
Miami's still undefeated, though. But Texas A&M for sure is the best team in the SEC right now. I think they should be ranked the highest of all the SEC teams outside of Texas.
All right, so like you said, this week, big week, a lot of rivalry games, a lot of big key matchups. Before we get to the game of the week, you were kind of talking about just go through rapid fire. Tomorrow night we got Utah, Arizona State, and a refugee of Pac-12 After Dark.
Arizona State is a scrappy ass team. They came back and beat Kansas, and now they're playing Utah, who has Cam Rising back. But we'll see how long that lasts. He actually can get another year of eligibility. I think like almost 2 years.
I know you said that.
Because of injuries. It's crazy.
Clemson, Wake Forest. Rivalry.
The slow mesh from Wake Forest. Clemson should win this. They've been on a hot streak. They put like 40 up on Stanford. They've been rolling. The offense has been making more sense.
Stanford, Notre Dame. Oldest school rivalry.
Stanford could low-key take this. Because even though they got blown out by Clemson a couple weeks ago, like, they beat down on, I think, was it TCU? Mm-hmm. It might have been TCU. I forget. But they beat that. Like, Stanford's had a couple really good wins. So, a lot of the conferences are starting to see teams starting to cannibalize themselves. So, there's a team with 2 losses, and you're like, they got 2 losses. Write them off. Like, no, it's probably a 9-win team, but the league is deep as far as the competition. So, yeah, I think Stanford could actually get that upset. But Notre Dame, it seems like Notre Dame has figured their offense out because their defense has always been lights out.
Arizona, BYU.
BYU undefeated. I think ranked 14th maybe or something like that.
Yep.
BYU could have full control of the Big 12. Nobody had BYU finishing first in the Big 12 at all. I think they were ranked damn near almost near the bottom. It's crazy when I play my interview with the BYU coach next week. But what he said, it's kind of coming to fruition. They truly play as a team. Their special teams complements everything they do. They've had multiple return touchdowns, blocked kicks. Like they're a well coached team, and the head coach, former player, so they're nobody to sneeze at.
Mississippi State and Georgia.
Georgia's going to do vile things to Mississippi State.
Florida, Tennessee.
Crazy by the way, praying for everybody who's dealing with Hurricane Milton.
Yep. People
are trying to survive. A lot of people evacuated to Orlando. That dude who was in his boat, he survived. Wow. He stayed in his boat overnight and survived. Everybody else was so lucky. So prayers up to the people who didn't make it. And prayers up for everybody who's just trying to endure it and stick through, man, because seeing black water seep into your house is crazy.
For sure.
Like, that's a scary form of nature I don't really want to deal with.
Ole Miss, LSU. Number 9, Ole Miss versus 13, LSU in the Bayou.
I think Ole Miss is the better team. I like Jackson Dart. I like the way he throws the football, controls that offense. Lane Kiffin just keeps something in the tuck. I think Ole Miss is going to be the year. LSU is going to be that 4-loss team in the SEC that's actually really good.
2 teams near and dear to your heart: Boise State and Hawaii.
Yeah. So Ashton Jeanty has 95 carries for over 1,095 yards and 16 rushing touchdowns. That's like the most through 5 games. That's more than Barry Sanders through 5 games.
Crazy.
He's on pace to actually shatter Barry Sanders' rushing record. And he's only played the second half 3 times this season.
Crazy. Colorado and Kansas State.
This could also be a Big 12 championship. Say eliminator, because Colorado, if they win this, I think they're 6-1 or 5-1. And Kansas State, if they beat Colorado, they're right back in it. As far as one being ranked and two, controlling their fate, getting to the Big 12 championship game. So this is a game of the week matchup because Kansas State's very good, very well sound, and we'll see what other spectacular things Travis Hunter's going to be out there doing.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about as far as college football news?
So the national letter of intent is no more. It has been abolished, eliminated, the program eliminated. Now schools will just deal with financial aid packages and like NIL stuff. So you want to sign a letter of intent, which won't affect your eligibility, you know? So it's a new day, especially with the $2.8 billion lawsuit coming that they're going to have to pay out to everybody. Really, a letter of intent only means something if you show up to class. So it's just a financial aid package and then whatever else. Whatever, NIL payments you can get your hands on. This is why in a country that doesn't score that well in math across the world, we should be teaching kids how to fucking balance a checkbook at an early age so they're not just fucked up and destroyed by the time they're 20.
All right. Take your tangent. Yeah, your take your tangent's not up to par today, so I'm veering off of it.
No, wait, hold on.
All right.
I had to take about it, though. It was good. Wilkins?
Can you just do it in your rant?
Sure, I guess.
It's not really, I don't know. I'm like doing injuries and take your tangent. It's like, are you going to speak on another man's health?
I wasn't speaking on his health. I was speaking on the state of the Raiders.
I guess.
Because Tyree's hurt.
But then
Max
that's what I'm
hurt.
saying. You could just talk about that in the open forum or at the end of the show, you know? You have plenty of avenues for that. Like,
yeah.
The take your tangent has to be more like, ended.
I can see how you could flip the other two with these.
I mean, yeah, you can always flip anything into any way you want. But you're Doctor Strange of sports metaphor and
narratives
content. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna start with this one. Robert Saleh fired from the Jets. Aaron Rodgers said he had nothing to do with it. Whatever. There's some controversy behind that, but nonetheless, Saleh out. Take your tangent.
He was a scapegoat. Aaron Rodgers was a horrible idea. Why the hell would Devontae want to go there? And how does firing Robert Saleh make the offense better? Because the defense wasn't the problem. Defense was top 10. So what was the point? And think about all the great, talented Senior Bowl players he brought to that roster. He drafted well when he was allowed to. He didn't ask for bum-ass Zach Wilson. And he didn't even ask for Aaron Rodgers. He never even got to pick his quarterback. So, and also he started wearing the Lebanese flag. And then people started trying to give him hell for it. I'm like, well, he's Lebanese, and they're going through something right now. So it's kind of weird to fault that man for that. But got a raw deal. I could easily see him going to contender if they need help. I mean, honestly, if he plays his cards right, I could see him potentially getting a job in Jacksonville. If, a certain person gets fired. Ironically, the Jags have an offense. They need a better defense. And Saleh can coach some defense. So, I think when Saleh tried to hug Aaron Rodgers and he pushed him away, that's when I knew, like, man, this ain't your team, dog. I didn't think he was going to be let go by the end of the season. There's a whole lot of season left. And nobody who fires their coach, unless you're the Raiders or Rich Bisaccia, you don't make it to the playoffs. Which is kind of crazy to me that this happened. So, yeah. I don't know what the Jets are doing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy to think about. All right. Yes, the next one. I guess we could just do yours then. Christian Wilkins goes to IR with a foot injury. You got to take her a tangent.
Apparently, Adam Butler jumped with him, and people are saying, like, allegedly that's how part of the injury happened. This is bad, especially for the Raiders, especially right now, going into the heart of a schedule where the Steelers are probably going to run the ball down their throat. And we come to a point yet again at the season where the defense is holding the team together. But now, like, you lose your star free agent signing, one of the best D tackles in the league, and the panic button has definitely been hit in Vegas. I'll tell you that much.
That and Divine Diablo's out, and Max Crosby's banged up, and Tyree Wilson hasn't developed like he needed to. Malcolm Kuntz was already out for the year. Just been Marcus Epps. He couldn't cover anyway, so blessing in disguise. Either way, Raiders have had a shit ton of injuries, no doubt about it. But offensively, they haven't got it done either. I mean, Alexander Madison has been their most explosive playmaker this year. That tells you the quality of this offense. All right. Derwin James says that he won't change how he plays after he got a suspension for against the Chiefs a couple of weeks ago. Take your tangent.
What's he supposed to do? Because if I hit you high, I get suspended or flagged. I hit you low, I end your career.
Well, the Chiefs get all the calls. That's all I'll say. Chargers don't get shit. We all know that. They're just a natural unspoken law, and those are two of them.
I just don't like when they penalize DBs who hit like linebackers.
All right, man. Well, guess I'll move to touchdown or turnover. All right, man. First up, Devin White, cut by the Eagles. Touchdown or turnover?
It's a touchdown for the Eagles. He was looking for a mega contract, wanted to prove himself, and guess he didn't prove himself good enough. But there's still teams that'll take him because he's talented. So it's never really over for a lot of NFL linebackers, especially if you do one thing good. Some team will always find a way to latch on to you.
It's a turnover. I don't know why him and fellow LSU linebackers are having trouble sticking right now.
He probably should have just took whatever deal he got offered in free agency instead of,
But yeah,
getting cut.
I thought it was a great free agency signing at the time. Still feel like there's teams out there that could use him. He's not that far removed from being one of the best players on a championship defense. All right. The Raiders bench Gardner Minshew for Aiden O'Connell. Touchdown or turnover?
It's both, but I guess it's a touchdown. Graham Kelly. No, what's his name? Omar. Is it Omar Kelly? Who's the guy they didn't give the GM job to, but they retained him?
Champ Kelly?
Champ Kelly, there we go. He said we didn't need to reach for a quarterback. We got ALC. We should just build around him. Guess he turned out to be right because your $30 million free agency man and Minshew got benched. Jameis Winston probably wouldn't look that bad right now. Just saying. Now, if ALC doesn't work, you might just have to tank the season. Like, it's sad to see, but you can just see that, like, Antonio Pierce ain't making it 2 years with this team. I don't, if they, especially if they're really bad, and they start off bad next season, and then Devontae, and then Max is gonna want more money.
Yeah, so now they're saying, Devontae might play or is going to play, and obviously, what else are they going to say? He's still on the roster. They're still paying him, and he's hurt, so they really can't even trade him until he's not hurt. But also, I don't think that's really realistic. I think this thing has gone sour, and the Raiders are trying to cut ties, but nobody's willing to meet their offer because, well,
you have no leverage.
They're kind of a joke right now. So I digress. This is I don't know, man. This is neither touchdown or turnover. It's just fucking, I don't know, safety. Like,
this is a tie.
Shitting down their own leg.
This is a tie in the preseason.
But yeah, I digress.
At least the future Raiders quarterback is playing on Saturdays. Got that to look forward to.
You really want Shedeur, huh?
Take Shedeur. Not high though, because if Genty's there, if let's say the Raiders have a top 5 pick, you can give me Genty. Genty's a faster, even more athletic and versatile version of Zeke. Like if Genty and Zeke were in the same draft class, Genty would have went first.
All right. So I'll take this one. But Jim Trotter settled his lawsuit against the NFL. He got something like $400,000. And he also helped establish a program between the NFL and HBCUs. You can go read all the details. Just Google it. Jim Trotter lawsuit. It'll come right up. But, yeah, man, I'll say it's a touchdown for Trotter just because he's always been real cool to me on Twitter. And he's been a real example of mine. He's someone I've watched since he covered the Raiders for, I think it was SI at the time. I've been a big fan of him at NFL Network. So a lot of respect for him and happy he got his due. I don't know if this HBCU thing will actually make a difference. Just seems kind of like, I don't want to say lazy because I know it is going to help those schools and those kids are going to get some opportunities and resources. So I don't want to poo-poo it too much, but it's just kind of like a convenient thing that the NFL could do to make this look less bad. But is it really going to change anything if there's no positions in management or executives? If there's no upward mobility, it doesn't matter if you're getting people in the door. I mean, yeah, it's better than not being in the door, but Charter's whole thing was, the glass ceiling and management and creative and editorial decisions, and I don't think the needle was moved in that area. In fact, I can pretty much confirm that. So, yeah, I digress. Fair or fade? So first up, we got Cam Newton basically taking RG3's role at ESPN. Fair or fade?
It's fair. I mean, for Cam, he's really just getting back into the machine, and it's going to funnel more traffic to him and his profile. So, it should be very interesting to see how he comes off. And hopefully they don't try to, sort of slapstick mockery of him either. Like, give him the same grace you gave Tebow or Manziel when Manziel shows up to college game day, So I think it should be interesting to see because I think for QBs like him, he's not allowed to grow old and sign with the team. But, they'll sign Nathan Peterman 18 times, which I don't understand. Like, you get dudes who just aren't anything as quarterbacks, but this dude was a former league MVP who knows he's not the face of the franchise anymore and can run an offense to some degree. But usually, when you're a really trash team, you just, you don't want a guy who might galvanize your locker room and want to change the culture to win, even if, he's not long for the league because he came into the league in 2010.
Yeah. Again, I'm happy for Cam. I think he's someone who has a very interesting perspective on the game. He's part of a lineage of black quarterbacks who, paved the way for this, golden era of black quarterbacks, as some would say. He was one of the ones to really get his team playing in the highest level, as well as, be in the MVP conversation. And, you have to respect him and listen to him. So glad to see him get his due, because especially when all these little kids are, making it a joke to, go at him. And it's like, nah, man, this dude is an OG. This dude made it so celebrations came back into the game. He's part of that movement.
He was so unprotected by the referees, they had to start protecting quarterbacks again.
Yep. So yeah, man, War Cam Newton. As far as the whole swap of RG3, it's kind of corny, but it's what we expect from these networks. Swap one, prolific college quarterback with another, and yeah, recipe for success. But nonetheless, doesn't take anything away from the opportunity that Cam is gaining. So good for him. All right, man. Joker 2 sucks. Fair or fade?
Yeah, all the reviews came out. They didn't even do it. They didn't even screen test it. So I knew that shit got like a 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. People hate fucking Joker too. It's really just a cash grab, so Lady Gaga can put another album out. Let's be real. Plot and the story don't even go or tie into the original theme the way it should. I'm not gonna give away the twist or spoil it, but it's pure bullshit. And this is like, if you did a musical first and then followed up Joker 2 with what Joker, the original one, was, I could understand some things. But that's why I'm not gonna waste my money to go see that shit. I'm about to start getting back into watching movies during the day. Because this is fucking ridiculous. You ruined it. And James Gunn said, Todd Phillips didn't even want to work with him. He rebuffed him every chance he got. So it's not even a DC movie, you fucking dickhead. So now it's not a DC movie. It's just another 2-off bullshit that nobody's going to talk about, because there ain't going to be a Joker 3. The same way there's not going to be a Rocky 8 or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. They were pretty clear this movie was going to be off the beaten path. So I'm not too underwhelmed or disappointed. I think at the end of the day, there's probably going to be some weirdos out there that like it. I still want to see it just to be the judge for myself. I won't like it that I want to see it, but even the first one I kind of hate watched, but it kind of grew on me towards the end. So I don't know. I always keep an open mind when it comes to cinema. But yeah, I'm not jumping at the bit to get out there and watch it either. All right, man. So speeding right through it. Anything you want to rant about? Talk about your boy Derek Carr. I preempted it.
So Spencer Rattler is going to get the start. Derek Carr been looking like shit. I just want y'all to know. Derek Carr's 3-14 at Arrowhead Stadium. It's like one of the worst. He has the worst losing percentage of all time. You know who's 2-0 at Arrowhead Stadium? Jamarcus Russell. Be a little bit kinder to draft busts of the past because boy, oh boy, Carr stinking it up in real time in year 11 is crazy work. The only thing crazier than that is seeing Juju Smith-Schuster go off for 9 catches for 130 yards. Like, it's just finding stars out of anybody at receiver. It makes no sense. And shout out to Sam Darnold for, turning his career around. It's good to see, like, quarterbacks get put in a good situation. I mean, it's great for him because he's probably going to get a great contract next season. Because J.J. McCarthy's going to be the guy. Got nothing else, man.
Kenny is talked out. It's all right, though. Yeah, for me, shit, I'm looking forward to getting out to Oktoberfest this weekend. I've only ever been to like Oktoberfest once, and I feel like it wasn't that great. So I'm hoping this one is a little bit more authentic, a little bit more in the spirit, and a little bit more fun. We'll see how that goes. Other than that, man, I'm looking forward to Raiders hopefully beating the Steelers. I know it's kind of a long shot with how Pittsburgh is playing. I know their defense is probably a mismatch over the Raiders' offense. I know the Raiders' defense is banged up. But yeah, man, this is always a good game. Every time we play, it's exciting in one way or another. Yeah, I'm just hoping we can get the best of them. More importantly, I hope I can watch most of it because I feel like I've been watching everything secondhand and just want to watch a full game. So, all right, man. Well, kept it short and sweet for you this week. Touchdowns and Tangents, TDs_tangents on Twitter and Instagram. TouchdownsandTangents.com. We're out. Peace. Damn, can't even get in the last word. That's crazy.